this isn't gonna be your typical ranking video.
We're not only gonna be ranking the liveries from worst to best, we're also gonna be taking a look back on some of the liveries we've seen in the most recent years and make some substitutions for the ones that just didn't quite hit the mark this year.
Our goal by the end of this video is to have the best looking grid lineup. So you'll have to let us know down in the comments not only just what you think about how we've ranked the liveries, but also about the substitutions we made. So with that all settled, now let's get into our ranking of the liveries for 2021, starting off with number 10.
Coming in last, in 10th place, we have the team that was last to reveal their livery, none other than Ferrari.
I don't know why they had to reveal their team and their car on separate dates. They could have easily blended this together because the car was a little underwhelming. Of course, the first thing that catches our eyes is that Mission Winnow logo that's in bright neon green. We might be asking ourselves why neon green. It has nothing to do with the Ferrari red. I've seen a few concept liveries online where they changed the color of the logo to either white, black, or yellow. I think the yellow would have been a good point to meet halfway to get the attention towards the logo without making it look too out of place.
And then, of course, we also can't ignore the very messy gradient at the back of the car. I guess they were trying to pull some sort of inspiration from the burgundy livery that they did last year in Tuscany, but it just looks very choppy. It's not seamless. It doesn't blend very well. Personally, I am also not a fan of the font that they used for the numbers on the vehicle. This car is just a train wreck in my opinion. I'm still one of the minority people that really wants to see a black Ferrari livery with some red accents, much like the jacket I'm wearing right now. I get that the point of this car was likely just to get people talking, but I haven't seen anyone say anything good about this. It's just an eyesore, honestly.
It's also to note that this logo might not be there during every race week. However, it's still a pain to know that this is their official livery.
So clearly we don't want to keep this livery in our lineup, so when looking at Ferrari's recent liveries within the past few years, which one would we pick to substitute this awful livery?
We'd personally go with the 2018 livery for Ferrari. It has the Italian flag on it, the colors just blend in better, and also it would match their tracksuits for this year.
Moving on to number 9 on our list, we have Haas.
When I first saw this livery, I thought the colors resembled the American flag, it's an American team, but then I forgot that also Russia has the same colors.
The opinions on this livery were quite mixed. Some people really like the new color scheme, some not so much. I'm gonna be very curious to see what happens with this livery and whether they'll be actually allowed to go forward with it, because there is an investigation going on as to whether they will be allowed to run what essentially is the Russian flag.
So now the question comes to, would we replace this on our grid? Looking back at the Haas liveries of recent years, there's a lot of variety to choose from. We have a grayscale livery, the rich energy, and of course the red, white, and black. I'm kind of leaning towards the black and gold. As we saw with the John Player Lotus special livery, it was a classic. It looked really elegant, but we don't like the fact that it's through rich energy.
I feel the same. I also would have picked the rich energy livery if it didn't have the association with rich energy, but the color scheme is just so clean that I still think that's the one I would put forward.
Next, in 8th place, our first probably controversial choice is Mercedes.
Look, I'll be perfectly honest. It's not that I dislike this livery. It's just that in comparison to the car from last year, it's a bit of a downgrade. I love the fact that they transitioned to the black livery. I was never a huge fan of the silver arrows, to be perfectly fair, but I just wish they would have gone with more of the teal and less of the red, and of course, less of the AMG.
So with that said, it's most likely we would probably replace this one from last year, as we like the message that went along with it, and I personally love the detail of all the little stars when looking up close to the back of the livery.
The car that we put in 7th place is actually AlphaTauri. Now let me be clear, I actually really liked this livery when I first saw it, but from the front, it's just a little bit underwhelming, and now that we've seen it on track, it's kind of forgettable. I just kind of miss the Toro Rosso liveries. So going into that, would we replace this with the previous Toro Rosso livery, or would you just swap this out with last year's model?
The short answer for me would be no. The Pepsi livery for Toro Rosso never stood out to me on the track. For me, it looked too much like the B team for Red Bull, so I really liked when they transitioned out of that to the bright white AlphaTauri.
Coming in at number 6, what some might say is an unexpected choice, but we have Williams.
They're trying to resemble the old colors of their championship-winning Williams. I know it's not exactly perfect. It's hard to copy that kind of style. I would of course love to see a bit more yellow on this car. However, their experimental approach to changing up the livery entirely, I think suited them well versus what they had last year.
I will say I am not so much a fan of the back half of this car, but from the front, the car looks great, and a reason why we placed this a little bit higher on our list than some people may have expected is because it actually looks pretty damn good on track.
So would we swap this one out?
Even though it is somewhat in the middle of our list, I would still swap this out because I really miss the Martini Williams racing livery. I loved the stripes, I loved the simplicity and the color blocking.
In 5th place, it's none other than Red Bull Racing. We know this livery doesn't change throughout the years, but we can't deny that it's not an ugly livery.
Some people, even myself included, I won't lie, are getting a little bit tired of seeing the same thing copy-pasted every year, but many others say if it's not broken, don't fix it.
I could see them probably changing up the livery going into next year with the new car designs, so they just wanted to end off this era of F1 with the same livery as previous years. So the question is, would we replace this livery from another one from previous years? The short answer is we don't know, because they all look similar. I guess we would take the one from this year as it has the Honda logo instead of Aston Martin.
In 4th place, we have McLaren. As the first livery revealed, many people said that they didn't see much of a change, but when you do look closer, there are some elements to the car that I think were improved for the better. First of all, the rainbow on the side pods is incorporated a little bit more seamlessly. I do like the fact that they added more blue to the car. The only thing that I wish they would have kept is the rainbow on the halo.
So would we swap this one out? Sort of. We'd like to blend some elements from past liveries together, but if we had to only choose one, it would be the one from 2019. It's the one that had that triangular pixelated format in the back of the car. It just really was unique.
Coming into our top 3, we have Alfa Romeo. I think this is a livery that very much caught people's eyes this year. I'm a big fan of this one. It looks super clean. I love the fact that they swapped the red and the white around, so now the red is on the bottom and the white on top. But I think my favorite thing about this livery is that bright green clover.
With that being said, we aren't going to swap this one out. The only element I'd like to see is the back wing being entirely red. Now, going into our top 2. Of course, we're not just going to reveal the second place, because then you'll obviously figure out who's in first. These were 2 liveries that were always in constant debate, but there can only be one winner. The best livery of 2021 goes to Aston Martin Racing. It's without a surprise that this one was going to be at the top of our list, seeing as it had the most change from last year.
I know that some people were actually slightly underwhelmed by this livery because a lot of people argued it's just one color, but that's what makes it so fantastic, is to see the green back on the grid. Everyone loves that British racing green. I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say that I'm particularly excited because it's my favorite color.
Now, of course, it's not perfect. There's a few changes we'd like to make in terms of the logo sizes, their placement, and of course, knowing that previously, before BWT was a sponsor of the team, that the line was lime green instead of pink.
But overall, with that being said, I still think the car is absolutely stunning. It looks fantastic under studio light. It looks great on track. You'll have to let us know what you think though, because there's a lot of pretty strong opinions about this one.
So the question is, would we keep this one over the very iconic pink racing point from previous years? Although it's sad to lose the pink Panthers on the grid, we wouldn't swap this one out. It was very nice to see the bright pink on the grid, but it was about time for the green to make its comeback.
And with Aston Martin being our number 1 choice, that means that the new Alpine livery is our number 2.
Now, of course, we can't downplay the Alpine. It's a beautiful livery.
I'll be honest, I was very worried when we saw the initial winter test livery because I was quite underwhelmed. But when they finally revealed the livery for the 2021 season, it was stunning. The blue pops, the way that they incorporated the logo into the back of the car is so seamless.
Now we might have one of the hardest choices to make on whether if we will keep this livery or swap it out with one of the previous iconic yellow Renault cars.
Personally, if it were up to me, I would love to combine the two to essentially make another circa 2005 yellow and blue livery. Unfortunately, that's not the direction they went in the past few years, so it really comes down to black and yellow or blue and red.
When looking back at the past 3 years of the Renault liveries, it's funny to notice that there's actually not that many differences at all between the years.
As much as I liked seeing the flashy yellow on the grid, ultimately the past 3 to 4 years of Renault liveries were far from their best and they were far from standing out in comparison to the rest of the grid. So in that case, I would still opt for the 2021 Alpine instead.
So there you have it. Those are our rankings for the 2021 liveries. So this would be the list of all the liveries we think would look the best on the grid. Let us know down in the comments if you agree or disagree, if there was any other liveries you would have chosen. Of course, while you are down there, don't forget to leave this video a like if you have enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you are new. Our social media links are right here. If you haven't checked out this video already, do so right now, and we will catch you in the next video.
Bye!